What I wanted to show you today was my absolute must-haves for my toolkits, because I've realised a lot of tools have been breaking recently. I've seen a lot of posts of people saying like, oh, what do you use, what do you buy, because my tool's broken, I've only had it 6 months. This is from professional gardeners, this is from domestic gardeners, this is from anyone who has an interest in gardening, allotment holders, people with just using a trowel and secateurs in their flat. I mean, it's from everything. So I thought I'd just give you a pretty quick brief rundown on the ones I use, starting with snip snip secateurs. So these, as standard, are FELCO secateurs. You'd be pushed to find a gardener that doesn't have a pair of FELCO secateurs, because they are the best secateurs, the only secateurs that sort of everyone chooses and uses, because they are so sharp. They have lovely bright red handles, which means if you lose them in the compost heap, you can see them immediately. Give them a sharpen with the little sharpener that comes in the packet with it. You can buy replacement blades as well should you get a nick or anything, and you just sharpen it along there and you use some oil. I use anything. I've used WD-40 on these before and they're really nice and sharp. They also come with a holster which attaches to your belt or your clothes. It has a hook as well, so you don't have to wear a belt, it can just go on. This is only 4 years old. This is still absolutely pristine. These are still fantastic. I'll probably have these both for another 30 years. What I use these for is sort of when I'm pruning trees, shrubs, big things such as that, or perennials, or thick stems on roses. I might use them for fruit tree pruning because they're quite vulnerable to disease and they have to be very productive. And people love fruit trees. They're the most easy to identify. These are the NIWAK garden shears. They're quite small. They've got lovely small handles that are made of wood, which are lovely to hold. I mean, I've not had any sort of cramp or any grip problems. They have a lovely sheath that comes with it that says NIWAK. I hope I'm saying that right, that'd be awful. So these are lovely and sharp. For the same thing as those, I just use a sharpening tool. Sometimes I use this actually, which is quite small, but it's quite nice and precise and it doesn't weigh down the blade at all. And then I just use a nice oil and that keeps them looking sharp and fresh. That's satisfying. These can be used on anything you're trimming in the garden. They're relatively inexpensive for what they are. And I sort of use them on topiary, I use them for conifer hedges, I use them for every different sort of topiary. Do I use them for anything else? No, just topiary mainly, but you can use them on anything. I just have some basic Spear & Jackson extendable, very extendable, snippers, loppers, whatever you call them, they've got loads of different names. These extenders are probably about 70-80 centimetres, which when you're on top of a ladder you'll be very thankful for. They've got a lovely sharp blade, big beak, and that gets through most things. I mean, I can get it through something about this, not recommended really, but when you're in a tight squeeze it's excellent. It also has a little ridged bit here which clamps down and it really gets it off in a nice sharp clean cut. Again, I use that for anything really, fruit tree pruning, normal tree pruning, shrub pruning, rose pruning and everything such like that. Next, the SILKY ZUBAT. That did this. I have a scar on my finger that I will have forever and it's the shape of an E, a capital E obviously, which is very weird because my name is Eleanor, so now it looks like I've initialed myself. But this is the SILKY ZUBAT, and not only do I use this for spoon carving, I use this for tree pruning, I use it for shrub pruning, I use it for everything that needs a saw, and even if it doesn't need a saw, I want to get it out because it is so sharp and sleek and amazing. So here it is. Look at that, it's so sharp. Again, you want to keep this clean because lots of trees have sap and such like and debris, and you end up clogged and moss and wet and damp and you don't want it to rust, not that it will, but you just sort of throw some oil, it can just be WD-40 or anything, and just give it a wipe with a rag as you're finishing your day or even your week if you haven't got time. I like to do it in between clients because washing your tools stops disease spreading. So as I move from garden to garden, I like to wash my tools or clean my tools or oil my tools because it stops pests and diseases from spreading to garden and makes my life a whole lot easier because I don't have to explain to a client why their box balls are damaged or anything like that. Last thing from the table, I just have a basic Wolf Garden sort of, I don't know what they call these actually, a little hook for weeding patios. It's got a nice little bladed edge here and a hook. I use this for weeding in between block paving, weeding in between perennials, anything, even hooking pond weed out. This is excellent. There are now extendable ones that you can add to a pole and use that, but this is just easy to use when you're on a kneeler on the floor. So this is vital. I can also use it sort of like a trowel, so you can dig around in hanging baskets when the roots are quite tight, and because it's got this little tip nose, it's very useful. This is just, once again, Spear & Jackson basic garden fork. It's not a border fork, it's a proper garden fork. I don't like border forks because they're quite small, but obviously if you need a lighter fork, that's perfect. Then we have, onto another thing, we have a BULLDOG T-handled wooden half moon spade. So this I use for edging borders in spring after I've left it go and I haven't trimmed it. And what did I say about cleaning my tools, and here I am scraping mud off it. Oh my goodness. Anyway, we won't dwell on that. Oh, I'm gonna get really fussy about it now. Oh well. This is super sharp and it's good for weeding like edges, brick edges, concrete edges, driveway edges, border edges, and it keeps everything looking smart and neat. So edging is very important, and I do use a strimmer to finish my edges. So if you're looking at my Instagram thinking, oh my goodness, mine doesn't look the same, number one, I do it every single day throughout summer, so I'm getting a bit used to it. And number two, this border spade is very sharp, but you might need to use shears afterwards, just in certain places, just to neaten it up. Here is the NIWAK, very dirty. Once again, why did I not clean my tools? I say every day, oh, I've cleaned my tools, I don't need to worry, and here I am with a dirty shovel. Oh, anyway, this is the pointed nose NIWAK golden shovel, and I mean, oh my goodness, it's gold, for goodness sake, it's gold. It stands out in the border as well, I can tell you that, I've never lost this. So I've been mulching recently, it's autumn, it's still pouring with rain, and you get a ton bag worth of compost if you don't do your own composting. Getting into one of those with a square-edged shovel is impossible, and I would be a much more exhausted person if I had to do that, but this has a lovely pointed tip, so you can get it in the ground, get it in a bag of compost, get it in a bag of manure, you can dig everything up. It also digs up stumps really well, so I've never left a stump in a garden. I don't cut down very big trees. I would get a stump grinder in, I wouldn't just dig it up if it was big enough, but it does dig up really, really, really big stumps. A lovely garden hoe. Do I need to say anything about a garden hoe? It weeds between your perennials, it weeds your block paving, it weeds your patio, it weeds everything, and oh my goodness. But this is a Spear & Jackson, once again, this is many a year old. Probably was my mum, sorry mum. And yeah, I love that. But this is a plastic leaf rake. I do own a metal rake, but I just don't like it. I just don't like the metal rake. I don't like metal on patio noises. Not that you should be using a rake on a patio, but I just don't like it. I use the leaf rake for absolutely everything. The only time I use the metal rake is if I'm raking a lawn, just to aerate it slightly. Apart from that, I don't use it. So this metal rake it's a leaf rake, it's plastic. This plastic leaf rake is from B&Q. Where did it come from? I've never been to a B&Q that I know of. I don't think there is one in Horsham, like Horsham district. Anyway, a lovely B&Q leaf rake. These are some of the best brands that you can buy from. SILKY, NIWAK, BULLDOG, Spear & Jackson, you're sorted, they're excellent. So, I'll leave you guys to it. I'm gonna stand here in the rain a bit more because it's so windy. I think it's Storm Diane or something like that, it's crazy. This whole hedge is moving. Anyway, I hope you guys have a lovely Wednesday, and I will be doing more videos like this in future. I almost dropped my spade. So if you'd like to see more videos, leave a comment below and let me know. Also let me know what I should do one on, because I'm going to do stuff like weeding borders and greenhouse stuff, like taking cuttings, sowing seeds, choosing seeds, how I plan my allotment, stuff like that. So whatever you'd like to see, please leave a link below, or on Instagram or on Facebook, and let me know what you'd like to see, because I'm more than happy to do anything really. I don't even know if you'll like this one, but it's winter and I have nothing else to do and I'm freezing, so just let me know. Oh my god, I better go. That's how windy it is.